So when you are studying for an exam and you're trying to memorize content, you don't remember anything. And that goes back to whenever I was an undergrad. Whenever I was trying to cram for, I remember those statistics exams I was trying to cram for that were multiple choice. I don't remember a doggone thing from them. But for the practical application exams, I still remember. I still have those documents. I still have those documents in my Google Drive. And I still pull those out, especially in my graduate program at Penn State, where I still pull content from my graduate program and my doctoral program. So all through my graduate program at Penn State, I didn't take a single exam. And again, I remember that information. Now, I didn't graduate from undergraduate that long ago, but again, those multiple choice exams, I did not remember a single thing from them. So with that, we're going to go through, I gotta check something real quick. We have to go through the first 3 chapters. We're going to discuss what we talked about in LinkedIn Learning. We're going to talk about what we discussed in our previous lectures. And again, if everything goes well, it'll be an easy exam. So in the first week, when we talked about project portfolio management, and we touched on this last week as well. Once again, what's your definition of project portfolio management?
It'd be the management of like multiple, I guess, like portfolios of like entities in a business.
Give me an example.
So I'll use PepsiCo because it's my thing right now. So PepsiCo as a whole has different projects, and then they have different sub-companies, and those sub-companies would be like Frito-Lay, and then Frito-Lay has a project they're working on with Cheetos and how to deliver more or a new seasoning or something, testing that out versus a new line of, a bigger bag or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, so you have the entity, which is PepsiCo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the portfolio, which is Frito-Lay and Pepsi. Is it Frito-Lay and then Pepsi, like with the food and beverage, with the drinks?
So PepsiCo is broken up into 2. There's PepsiCo Food and Beverage North America, which is like drinks, and then there's a snack entity, which is Frito-Lay's, the whole snacks.
Right. So that's portfolio, right?
Yep.
And then under that, you kind of have the programs. So what would a program for Frito-Lay be?
It'd be like Ruffles unveiling a new flavor in their lines.
Right. So there you go. So Ruffles is essentially a program under the Frito-Lay portfolio. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So you have Ruffles and you have who else? Is Cheetos?
Cheetos, yep.
Okay. So you have Ruffles and you have Cheetos in the programs, right? And then under Ruffles, then you have that Ruffles, like the project, like you said.
Yep.
Right? So that makes sense to everybody. All right, somebody give me another example.
How we talked about Tesla and how they have the cars, and then they have their solar, and they have the underground subway, I think we were talking about, or the underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so what is that? So you have the subway, you have Solar City, and you have Tesla. What are those?
Those are your 3 programs.
No,
those are your portfolios, and then under those you have the program, right, like the Tesla cars and whatever you're going to do with the solar panels, and then whatever you're going to do with the underground.
Right. So you have the model. Tesla is my portfolio. Under Tesla, I have my Model 3s, right? And I have my Cybertrucks, right? And then under the Cybertruck, now I have the single motor and the multi-motor, and then you'll have the project with the self-driving, autonomous vehicle now that they increased the price on. I'm not too happy about. So you have those different projects under that particular Tesla program, right? Good job. Give me another one.
How about like Disney? Disney's the entity, and then Pixar, and we'll say Lucasfilms. They're the
Sorry about that.
program. No, they're the portfolio.
Mhm.
And then under them you have Star Wars is the program, and then like Toy Story and all the other Pixar
So
films.
what would a project be under that Star Wars program?
Maybe making a new movie
Right.
or selling merchandise or something.
Or The Mandalorian, which I'm waiting for it to come out. I love
True.
that movie. I love that thing. That's the only reason why I bought Disney Plus. But anyway, if you haven't seen it, I'll check that one out. But all right, let me see. Thanks for that, Michael. What's another one?
Like Netflix and
You're breaking up, Cody.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
So Netflix. So Netflix would be the entity within their portfolio would be like shows, and then movies that they create themselves, and then shows that they put on and create themselves, and the allocation of funds into each entity.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Ben, let me get one within a pipeline industry.
So you could have like Columbia Gas would be your entity,
Mm-hmm.
and then under that they would have like the different states. They could do Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia maybe, and then under those they could have water and gas.
So would you? All right. So everybody. So I have Columbia Gas. That's the company. And I would say that and you see how it can get confusing. So I could have water and gas as my portfolio, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then would you say that the program's a state?
Yeah.
Right? Because it can get hairy. But also it can also be dependent upon how they want their profit and loss statement to look. So they could say my portfolio is a state.
Yeah.
Because I can say I want everything to roll up to the state, and then I want my program to be water, gas, whatever. So that's another important piece. And Ben brought up an excellent point in that it can go either way for a company. It depends on how they want their reporting to go. It depends on how they want their profit and loss statement to go or to look. Everybody understand? Ben, that was an excellent example. All right, Michael. You can't hide in the dark. I see you.
Sorry, I didn't put the light on. I'll turn it on if you want.
No, I'm good.
Would PayPal be a example to use with Venmo under their programs? Because I was reading on the Wall Street Journal, and they wanted to get into the financing industry and do a system like layaway.
What, PayPal or Venmo did?
Well, Venmo is owned by PayPal,
right?
And if they're using that program to change their point of sales, I was just wondering if that would be like a program or like some kind of way in the portfolio.
Doesn't eBay own PayPal?
I don't. I think it still does.
So eBay would be the entity, right? And
okay.
then PayPal. But again, this is why we're talking about this. So PayPal would be the portfolio under eBay, right? And then, well, heck, it could be like eBay Corp, whatever, right? Higher. Then you have PayPal. Then you have the eBay e-commerce, and then whatever's under that eBay umbrella, right? And then you could have Venmo under PayPal, right? You see how it gets how it gets hairy. So imagine a company like GE, that just gobbles up companies and how their portfolio looks and how their programs look and how their projects look, right? And imagine you being a portfolio manager trying to manage all these things, right? So imagine being a portfolio manager for Tesla. You're managing all the car lines, all the truck lines, all the, you know, the semi-truck line, the Roadster. And you're trying to manage all that and understand all those projects. So now you see how it can, because everyone went through project management, correct? You know, and you see that project management can kind of get a little hairy and convoluted. So just imagine, you know, managing a portfolio of projects, a portfolio of companies. You know, whenever I was in the industry, I'm not missing it one bit. When I was in the industry, I was managing a portfolio of ERP projects. I had a project for like Intel, a project for $1.5 million. Then I would have a $200,000 project. So you can see how those projects within that portfolio, you know, can you know, vary tremendously. The resources vary tremendously. The requirements vary tremendously. And that's what you have to think about. And it's the same thing with a project manager. Okay. Any questions on that? Good job. Excellent discussion. You passed that part of the exam. All right. So I'm trying to share my screen. Give me a second. So in terms of the LinkedIn Learning, so for the project portfolio management foundations within LinkedIn Learning, the one thing I want to talk about here is what is the role of the portfolio manager? Because we did talk about this in the first chapter.
To view all the programs and the projects and know how they align with the business goals.
How would you know? Oh, that was a good definition. How do you know if they align with the business goals?
I would say that they would review and try to balance all the opportunities within the portfolio and check the risk.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's good. Y'all are putting a smile on my face, and that's hard to do.
Wait, can you repeat that?
Go ahead, Michael. Repeat that.
What, the second part or the whole?
Yeah, the second part.
They would look at the entire projects and programs and balance the opportunities and the risk.
And the whole balance the opportunities and risk is very important in that's what whenever we're assessing projects within the corporation, we're assessing the risk because we want to assess the risk appetite, or how big is our risk appetite, if you will. You know, I implemented ERP systems, and we would assess a company, you know, a $10 million company, to say, okay, this company is broken. Do we want to take that risk and try to turn this company around? You know, they're only going to be dropping 100,000 in this project. Is it worth it? And there were a lot of situations where we walked away from them, or we walked away from them because I worked for Infor, the $3 billion company, but we had partners where they said, "Oh yeah, we'll take it. Here you go. Take this problem off our hands." You know, and I think that, like in Ben's case, in the oil industry, in the pipeline industry, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of risk evaluation that go into play in that environment, because that's a totally different world. It's kind of like within my world in manufacturing. it's a totally different world. It's totally different than, healthcare, where they are kind of PC, where in manufacturing, they'll just tell you like it is, especially unions. So, so that brings in the next question that was in the portfolio management is how would culture within an organization impact a project portfolio? So with Logan's point, so if PepsiCo wants to implement a new process, PepsiCo Corporation, how is the culture within Pepsi, within the beverage portion, going to impact Frito-Lay, which is the food portion? Two totally different entities, two totally different companies within that umbrella. How does culture impact that?
I would say like with a strong culture to be able to share resources within each other
That's a
and
good
take
one.
one side's strengths. Like say PepsiCo or say Frito-Lay is operation is like stronger than the other sides. Maybe they would take some managers from that side and help train them.
That's an excellent point. That's a very good point.
Whereas if it was a weak culture, they would kind of just let them they would just throw them to the wolves pretty much.
Right. And I have been a part of both of those types of cultures. And that isn't an amazing point in that whenever you get into the business world and you're starting to look for jobs, whenever you see those management trainee positions, those are amazing positions because they kind of take the same approach what Michael just said, in that they will put you into different entities of the organization. They'll put you into different geographical regions within the country. They will put you into different departments within the organization. GE was excellent at that, in that they would have someone work in California for 2 years, or have someone work in New Jersey for 2 years, in different entities. So I had a peer of mine who he worked for GE Nuclear or something crazy like that. He went to Duke. He was brilliant. He worked for GE Nuclear for 2 years in California. Then he went to GE Healthcare or something, like totally unrelated. But GE had that mindset of, if you get two unrelated organizations and you see those sides, now you become a more well-rounded manager, leader, right? So that's why I'm a huge fan of those management trainees. Sometimes they're called rotation programs, but that's exactly what Michael's referring to. Where you're kind of identifying the strengths within your portfolio, right? And you are sharing those strengths and pretty much create a competitive advantage for your organization in terms of a project. That's an excellent point. What else? How does culture impact a project's portfolio?
So I'd probably say like the extent you go to succeed within a portfolio. So like obviously some companies have higher morals and higher values compared to others. So whether you're gonna put X amount of toxic waste into back into the earth, or whatever the case may be for whatever project, and the lengths at which you'll go to succeed within your project, as we talked about, like Tesla, their big value is kind of the green effect, doing everything better for the earth. And a lot of other companies don't really see that, have those same values, where they would maybe take the cheaper route to do things, so their profit margins would be a little bit higher. They wouldn't care about kind of the economic effects, or the social economics, or economic, I don't know what the word would be.
I got you. Yeah, and that's an excellent point, in that, in order to implement sustainable practices, it does cost more. But as I said, I think I said before, within this, all these classes mix in, but as I explained to some class before, that there was a longitudinal study, it's a TED Talk, where, let's see here. and I think it was 8 or 10 years he did this, and he said that the top 100 companies to work for beat their competitors year over year by like 3 or 4%, something like that. You know, so yes, on the surface, yes, we're going to have a quicker profitability, but long term, and especially now, we're going to use sustainability as a competitive advantage in the future. Does that make sense? Okay. What else? What else in terms? How does culture? We're going to take one more. How does culture impact an organization's portfolio? And that's going to lead me to another question.
It could be even like things as small as like culture of the organization and like the balance of like the office. Like PepsiCo is like super intentional on driving, like making sure that they have a healthy like system of like building, they call it building the winning culture or winning with purpose, they call it. So it's like making sure that employees are just more than employees, but they're treated as humans, and like having ERG groups to go to, stuff like that. So I guess that could affect the portfolio, like the culture of like the business itself.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. So that was a good one as well. So let's say that PepsiCo acquired a company from Coca-Cola, for example. Right. So that company has been indoctrinated with the Coca-Cola way. How would PepsiCo integrate that new company into their portfolio when the culture is totally different?
Well, wouldn't it be like similar to like a new like coach coming in and like a football coach, a basketball coach, a baseball coach? They come in and they want like their way, kind of like starting from the beginning. But obviously, you wouldn't start from the beginning, but just kind of the philosophy around the office, the beliefs, and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like kind of act or like align it with.
Yes. So it all comes down to, and that's exactly correct, in that it comes down to change management. And you have heard of failed projects time and time again, and that the failed projects do not come down to, the technology. It does not come down to the equipment. It does not come down to poor project management. In effect, in most cases, it comes down to change management. It comes down to the people, because you do not have adoption of those projects. So if a company, and this happens all the time, where a company will acquire another organization and they'll add that organization to their portfolio. So this was part of GE's demise. GE was the largest organization in the world, and they kept acquiring these organizations, but these organizations did not have that GE way. They did not have that GE mindset. They did not have that GE culture within their organization. So that is essentially what hurt what hurt GE. And I think that in order to mitigate that, you have to have effective change management. You have to have effective leadership, right? And that's what I try to blend into, all project, whether it's project management, whether it's portfolio management, whether it's supply chain management. That's what it's going to come down to. And in order to be effective leaders, you have to have those leadership competencies. I'm trying to build that. That's why, I want to get your thoughts. I want you to interact with each other. I want you to, share your thoughts in terms of what we're discussing in the class. So that's what we talked about within that first week. Within the second week, what are the steps to that project management life cycle? Yeah, bring the book out.
Initiate, plan, execute, monitor, and close.
Correct. So I think Logan gave us an example last time. Give me an example of how that would work from a portfolio perspective. So let's go back to my example. We acquired someone. We acquired a company. How would that life cycle work? That's a master's level question, just letting you know.
Repeat it, please.
I have a portfolio.
Okay.
I'm Tesla. I'm Elon. I just acquired Rivian, the new electronic truck company. It's a startup. So Elon said, "You're not going to go hit me. I'm just going to buy you." So Elon just bought them. How is Elon going to integrate Rivian into his portfolio? What steps does he have to take using that project portfolio lifecycle?
So would the first one for initiate, that would obviously be the acquisition of the company. The plan would be making like short-term, long-term, I guess, like goals for the organization, like or the portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And then the execution would be carrying those out, and the optimization would be adjusting to achieve those short and long-term goals.
Yeah, simple as that.
Yeah.
It's not difficult.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Logan.
There you go.
All right,
there you
Cody.
go. So I mean, but in terms of a portfolio, this is what happens all the time. You know, these massive companies gobble up organizations all the time. So I keep referring to Infor. Infor did not create a product. They did not create a service. They were pretty much a venture capital company that had a bunch of people with money, and they've seen applications that they think could make money, and they just bought them. And they brought those organizations, they brought those employees within that Infor culture, and they just added these companies into their portfolio, right? So the product I worked for was called Sightline. Now it's called Infor Cloud Suite. You know, and that's one brand out of, I think, 30 now they own. And each one of those are within their portfolio, are one little rung within their portfolio. And then under those, they have different programs. So within that Cloud Suite portfolio, you have Cloud Suite Industrial, you have Cloud Suite Hospitality, you have Cloud Suite Education, something like that. And then under Cloud Suite Industrial, which is a manufacturing piece, now you have all these different projects within it that goes on, right? So if I'm under my manufacturing project, then there's like sub projects under those. This thing explodes, right? So that's where, once you acquire a new organization, you have to go through that portfolio life cycle. That makes sense? And also, if you are making dramatic changes to a brand within that portfolio, you have to go through that portfolio life cycle. So for example, Cody, don't you know ERP systems? Don't you work with ERP systems?
Yep.
So does your company operate on premise or in the cloud? Like, do they have servers on site?
Yeah, they have service on site, but they have 3 different manufacturing plants. So then they have the cloud.
Okay. So the big project that Infor had about 4 or 5 years ago was to move all products to the cloud. And this was one thing that I was talking about since 2006. But it took about 10 years for it to catch on. It's like Google Drive, like all your Google Suite. Pretty much all your Google documents are in the cloud. It's pretty much saying that I'm taking my application that runs my organization and moving it in the cloud. Amazon Web Services runs pretty much all the Infor right now. All products within Infor are run through Amazon Web Services. So we had to create a project within every single portfolio within Infor for that. And there had to be a life cycle for that to say, what are the steps to move all these literally thousands of customers on premise to the cloud? And you have to follow that life cycle in order to get those customers to the cloud and create a program to move those customers to the cloud. That make sense? All right. So that's the portfolio management. Also, we talked about strategic management last week. So we haven't talked about strategic management. We have not had a summary of strategic management. So what did you learn from last week in terms of looking for LinkedIn, in terms of LinkedIn learning? How does strategic planning fall into portfolio management?
I mean, that's everything. You gotta make sure you have like a plan to be able to carry it out and achieve your goals that you're trying to set or reach.
Give me an example.
A 10-year plan, looking at a business. If you want to have, $10 million a year, 10 years down the road from now, what steps are you going to take to be able to achieve that? Or where do you want to see, or like, where do you see yourself in 10 years type deal?
Perfect. Ben, do you have an example in terms of in the pipeline industry of how that would look?
You could have, like, as you said, a 10-year plan. You could see like how many jobs you'd like to bid on, or maybe how many jobs out of the ones you bid on, how many you want to win, and like the amount of money that you're going to earn from those ones that you bid and win.
How would that look? How would that look from a portfolio perspective? So are you going to, and let me ask you, so based on what we talked about, would the portfolio for Columbia Gas be based on water and fuel and oil, or would it be based on states and then go to fuel, or would it be fuel, water, and then split it out to states in the programs?
I think it would go by the water and gas, and then by states.
Okay. So what would the strategic plan look like for gas, for example?
So you could have like, you'd go to gas, then you'd go to maybe West Virginia, and you could see which places are lacking gas. And try to fill in around the area so you could make the most profit off of your area.
Bonus question. How would you find out which areas would be lacking gas?
I think they have people that go around and will look like for themselves and then report back.
Okay. All right, good. And another way that they would do that, they would look at the data. I mean, you've heard of business analytics. I do a lot with data analytics, and that's pretty much that's another way in which we do that. Because we have that data in terms of usage. And although Columbia Gas has competitors, I can pay to see what users are using what oil company. So you can get the data. Michael, what's an example from you in terms of strategic planning from a portfolio perspective?
Which Michael?
You, Michael.
Oh, I was gonna say like this. LinkedIn talked a lot about like setting a direction, but being diverse, because you don't know what like the future is gonna hold. So like, don't just
Mm,
like all your eggs in one basket.
right. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so let's talk about that one. So I had a graduate student that they pretty much started a telehealth company out of from COVID. You know, they started it in March. Now it's a huge multi-million dollar company. I think I shared that one as well. But a brand new industry pretty much sprung up from the pandemic, right? So, and as the older population seeing that, well, I don't like going to the doctor anyway. Now I can do this. Now I can do this from home. Okay, I'm in. How is that from a strategic portfolio management perspective? How is that going to impact the industry? How is that going to impact organizations such as, WellSpan? I think everybody has WellSpan around here, or Gossinger. How is that going to impact those healthcare networks?
They're gonna have to start incorporating that as well.
Right. All right. So from a strategic portfolio perspective, and there's no right answer, there's no right or wrong answer to this. Do you think they build their own, or do you think that they outsource it to a company like I was referring to?
It depends on the company, honestly. If they have enough money, they might do it themselves to try to make theirs better. But telehealth already set the foundation, so if they want to use them, they can.
Right. What's some other thoughts on that one?
I was gonna say like another thing that sprung up during the pandemic is like cart to curb, where like grocery stores now will like bring your groceries right to your car.
Yep. So do you think that that's going to continue?
Yeah, for sure. People are lazy.
I agree. Now, do you think that, so how does that look in, do y'all have Giants in your area?
Yeah, well, I work at Wegmans, and they actually had to
There you
build a
go.
whole entire area for it because the
Okay.
demand was so high.
So with a large company like Wegmans, how is that going to look like? Because Wegmans better not do. I just know Wegmans is Wegmans. So if Wegmans were to create a portfolio, what would Wegmans' portfolio look like?
They would have one for like the market cafe section, one probably for like produce, probably for each department they'd have one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. I love Wegmans, by the way. Can you give me some coupons? What's another one? Michael Sell.
Figuring out a way. So I would just use this as an example from where I worked, and it would be figuring out a way to transport hazardous material safer, because we used to have a lot of problems where they would either be punctured or not wrapped well enough, and it would destroy the trailers. I was with New Penn Motor Express.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say maybe figuring out a plan to contact the shipper and the driver to figure out a way to secure them better, or maybe even come up with a new way so that the trucks don't corrode.
But how would that? So are you saying that, is that a new offering, or is that a new company within OD's portfolio?
It's still in. This is for New Penn. They're
Oh,
owned by YRC. Well, I guess that would be the main entity.
Roadway is the top.
Roadway is all. It's Yellow International. They own Roadway as well, and then they also own New Penn. And then I would say that maybe figuring out an alternative to hazardous material problems.
All right, so let's talk about that one. See now, and this is good because I know Yellow Roadway, right? So Are you saying that YRC is the top?
Yeah, as far as I was always told, yes.
Okay, so what's under YRC? There's Yellow. There's Roadway.
There's Roadway. There's New Penn Motor Express. I don't know the rest of them. Those are the only
Right,
main
but
ones.
there's these different companies, right?
Yeah.
That's a portfolio. That's YRC's portfolio. Correct?
Yeah.
under yellow. Now you have program. So what would a program for yellow be?
Probably what I just said before.
Okay. So would it be okay? But would it be like? Do you go like truckload and less than truckload
Yeah.
in terms of a program, or is that more of a project?
I mean, all the day-to-day work is usually truck loading, and then I don't know how that would word that.
Okay. All right. But that's good though. I learned something on that one. All right. So anything else on strategic planning?
Would it be like also like Jeff Bezos when he was trying to put in that
Breaking
their
up.
biggest warehouse in New York, and it was strategic in a sense that he was giving back thousands. God damn it! Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Jeff Bezos, when he like was trying to build like their biggest headquarters in New York, and he was going to get an X amount of tax cut on, like by building this there because of the amount of jobs that he was going to give back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So like the idea of being able to build a facility that is your biggest yet in a highly populated area and getting such a big tax cut, but you're in the middle of everything where you're probably going to be shipping to a lot of places very close to that.
Mm-hmm. So, but then he ended up putting HQ2 in the DC area.
Well, yeah, because they wouldn't give him the tax cut.
Yeah. So, but also there's one thing. Let's see here. Because this just emerged. So this is a perfect strategic example where they're pretty much bringing DCs to the air, and they are. Let's see here. Yeah, this is exactly it. So they're gonna pretty much have a blimp, have a distribution center within a blimp, and have drones delivering products.
Yeah, it's like the Amazon effect essentially with like all businesses. Like it was 2 days, now it's the next day, and every company is trying to.
And now it's gonna be 10 minutes.
Yeah, so like every company is obviously like trying to compete with them to be faster, quicker, and better.
You can't. It's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not possible. It's kind of getting to as close to that as you could be, which probably isn't going to be. It's not going to be that close after seeing this that you just put up.
Oh man, I posted something on LinkedIn. Give me a second. They claim it wasn't real, but I was duped on it apparently, because I posted it. I gotta find it. But you know, it's almost to the point where you can't have a conversation without discussing Amazon. You know, you got Amazon again. Amazon was built from. Can y'all hear me? Because I'm like.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Okay, there's a big lag on my end, but from an Amazon perspective, you have, Amazon came from selling books, right?
Yes. How did they even like branch out so much? That's like.
Bezos is a mastermind.
Is he a mastermind, or is he he fell into a good amount of luck as well, though?
I think he's mastermind. How could you fall into luck in creating something that doesn't exist?
I mean, yeah, but
let's talk about it.
I mean, I think there has to be some sort of luck that comes into play with that.
But
you think he's the smart?
If you say that there is luck in every single successful business, then.
Oh, I agree.
I would agree with that.
I think there is. I think
there's luck in me talking to you right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything kind of comes together by chance, but
You know, it's everything comes by luck. And it's also being in the right place at the right time. It's also being surrounded by the right people, you know, but I haven't seen, so to your point, I haven't seen where Bezos had like a right hand man. Jobs had Woz, right? And Zuckerberg had like 5 people that he had to pay. You know, so it's like who does Bezos have? Like, there's nobody that's come up. Is he that good?
I mean, his wife, he paid her like it was a right-hand man.
Oh, that's true. She got a lot of money.
A lot of money.
But I'm saying, like, those successful people had like partners in crime as they emerged to success. Damn, where's this thing at? Let's see here. It's in here somewhere. Give me a second. There it is. What screen are you seeing?
Blank screen. There you go.
You see that? You see the Amazon?
Yeah.
That's nuts. They tried to say it's fake, but I don't know how you could fake that one, because they received a patent to actually do this, a U.S. patent. So if you're talking about strategic portfolio management, that's what Logan's talking about. Where you say the 5-year plan, that's Amazon's 5-year plan. To have a warehouse in the air. So how do you think that's going to work? Do you think it's going to work?
Initially, I say no, but it's Amazon, so probably.
That was my thoughts as well.
the only way it could work is if it's a limited amount of product. Like, you can't have everything Amazon has to offer in the air.
True. But you can't have everything Amazon has to offer in one DC.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so would you like load this thing up in the mornings and just send it out all day?
I don't work for Amazon. I don't know. But
multiple.
So the way I envision it from a supply chain perspective is that wherever this blimp is going, Amazon's going to look at the demand for that region. It's going to look for the fast movers in that region. It's going to load inventory for that region, and then that's how it's going to store. They don't have it, they don't have it. They do, they do. You know what's going to have, because Amazon's system is real time, where they can provide real time feeds to online. So when you go to Amazon right now, they could have this to say this blimp is 15 miles away from you, and it has this product. You can get this in 45 minutes. And here's where Amazon's gonna make their money. Do you want to pay $15 more to get it in 30 minutes? I'm gonna pay that if I want it. Perfect example. My wireless printer didn't work last night. So I had to get off of my computer, drive to Walmart, and go get a printer. I gotta drive 25 minutes to go get a printer cord. So if I go on Amazon and say, do you want to pay $15 more to be here in 30 minutes? Without a doubt. That's where I'm gonna make the money. Because I have no problem at all paying $20 a month for Prime. Because I can go on at Saturday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Amazon's showing up at my door on a Sunday. I got baby supplies showing up 7 days a week.
They're going to have people doing it just to say that they can do it.
Exactly. I gotta transfer money. I gotta transfer money in my account every week because my wife is using my card on my Amazon file to get baby stuff. It's so easy. It's convenient, and that was brilliant. That was brilliant on Bezos' part. That one click is dangerous. Strategic portfolio management. This is part of their portfolio. So they have the e-commerce where you can just log on, and Amazon Prime is a part of their portfolio. This thing, whatever they're going to call it, it's going to be part of their portfolio. It's going to be an absolute game. Nobody's going to even be able to get close to this. Amazon's already patented it. They're taking over the world.
Who even has the money to do that besides Amazon? Nobody.
Mm-mm. And like I said, I think Walmart has come to a realization to say, we're good with brick and mortar. We're good. we can't touch these guys. And it's like, we have this now. And this is my discipline. This is what I research every day. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing next. I have no idea. They're gonna be transporting stuff to my in my room or something.
They're making you breakfast.
It's not. I mean, we were talking about the Google Home and Amazon. What is it? Amazon Alexa? What is that? It's Alexa, right? We're saying that was future. That was like Jetsons level. Now that stuff is old. Everybody has it. So what's this going to look like in 5 years? What is Amazon's strategic portfolio plan for the next 5 years? Right? That's the crazy part. And my thing is, I want in. So, and I have Amazon will be the way to go. I'm trying to get Amazon to come to Penn State to recruit. I think Lehigh has a lot going, because there's a distribution center near Bethlehem, and Lehigh has a lock on that distribution center. And given that you all are at different campuses, I think that, because they have tons of jobs, tons. So, but it just depends on what area of supply chain, if you're in that supply chain discipline that you want to go in. So Amazon might be in pipeline, you never know. they may buy Columbia Gas, you never know. So anything else on strategic? That was a good discussion. At least for me. I like talking about this stuff. At least nobody's dozing off, or unless you're good. So anything else? All right. So, I gotta check something real quick. I'm pretty sure. Congratulations, y'all made 100 on your exam.
This was the exam? Awesome.
That's it. I want you to remember this stuff. You're not gonna remember anything, and you all participated, right? If one of you had no clue what you're talking about, or if none of you did not participate, it would not have been bad. Might have been good. But you all participated, right? You all were in agreement. You all gave good examples, and that's my thing. I want you to remember this stuff. You're not gonna remember anything by trying to cram for an exam. All right. Now I may have to give some kind of, well, you know what? I may flip up the final exam for a presentation, because we have a presentation coming up in 2 weeks. Now the presentations, I'm not as easy. You have to know what you're talking about. But I've been quizzing y'all, and you've been doing a good job. So you may not have a problem. But yeah, so the week of 9/21 is next week. We're gonna have a guest speaker. I'm trying to find my communication. I talked to a lot of people. Give me a second. There she is. What screen do y'all see now?
The schedule.
All right. So Monica Miller, she went to Penn State. She's been a portfolio manager for a number of years. So I reached out to her, see if she'd be interested in a discussion, and she has accepted. In that portfolio governance is one thing that it's very important, to ensure that all projects within a portfolio are following the expectations and requirements and standards of the organization. And who better to talk about that than someone who actually does it, who actually lives it, who's been in that for a number of years. I mean, she's been, since 2010, since 2006. She's been doing portfolio management. So I think that this is going to be an excellent speaker. This is one thing that I'm trying things different. I think that with the current, I mean, although this was going to be a shared class anyway, Dad's gonna learn. Bring him in here. Tanner. Let him learn something.
He wants you to come back.
Bring him in here. Let him learn something.
He said, "Come learn something."
Where's he at?
Oh, jeez.
Where's he at?
Oh, he's right here.
I'm right here. I was listening the whole time.
Are you listening? Did it make sense? You're still awake, so I'm doing my job.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. You are. Yeah, it makes sense.
All right.
That's great. Sorry about.
So yeah, Monica, she's gonna talk about her experiences, and we're gonna kind of do an interview type deal. So I hope that's gonna be good. I want you all to come with questions. I want you all to read the chapter, to have an understanding of what you all are, what she's gonna talk about, what I'm gonna ask her about. Because I want every single lecture, I want you to take something away. I want you to take some kind of nugget, right? Because whenever I think about what I'm going to talk about, I'm agile in that I'll say, okay, what are we going to talk about today? But because anybody can read the book, right? I want to bring in those real life scenarios, what people are actually doing in the industry. Okay. So again, review the chapters and come with your questions. And as I said, as long as y'all are engaged, as long as you're bringing in examples, as long as you are understanding this content, you'll have no problem with me. And that's the way I've always been. And I've told people, I say, if you fail a class, you did it on your own. I said, because you got to try to fail my class. Because I want you to remember this stuff, and I'm not doing my job, and I'm not helping you by failing. But if you don't put the work in, you're going to fail. In the story, so you all, and that's more for people. I mean, you all have been engaged. You all have been on every single discussion. I hope that, let's just ask. I mean, is it benefit? I mean, we're a few weeks in. Are the discussions beneficial? What else would you want to discuss? How can I make this better for y'all?
I don't think you could. This is probably the best class I have. I'll be honest. I just came from a class where the professor lectures the whole time. It's a real pain in the neck to this. So, and then I'm actually like remembering stuff in this class. It's not like going over my head. I'm not forgetting it throughout the week. Like you said, it's practical information that like we're actually getting, and I know for me at least it's sticking.
All right.
I agree with Logan. We have the same class before this, and when you go from that class to this, it's completely different. That class, he just kind of just talks the whole class. No one has their like screen on or anything. Nobody talks. It's just him there for an hour just talking, and you
So
really
you
don't
can't,
learn much
so
in
you
it.
can't, you can't see, Tanner's dad trying to get some notes.
Nope.
I'm gonna get you the rest of the class now.
Yeah, he's sitting here. He's putting his hands up. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
I'm gonna, I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him questions next. Tell him to come prepared next, because I'm gonna ask him a question. I need to add him to the
You don't want
course.
to
He
hear
needs to be added to the course roster.
Oh, I'll set him up a LinkedIn later.
Right? What do you think, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I think has kept this information so at the front of my brain has been everybody talking about their experiences and things that are close to home with them. Makes it easy for them to learn. I think most classes, they tell you the way that they want you to see it, not the way that you maybe think about it. And I
Right.
think that was the biggest thing. I know you picked our brains the first class, and I didn't really understand why you were doing it. And I know you
Mhm.
said that you're going to keep revisiting this throughout the semester, but I think like 4 weeks and I've seen why you did that, and I definitely don't have any other um, things that you should do or anything like that.
Okay. Thank you for that. Ben, what do you think?
I agree with everything said. The way that it is, we all see each other. It's all based on like what we've been through and how we can relate it to like what we're doing now. It makes it a lot easier.
All right. Perfect. Michael Sell.
I agree with Logan and Mike because we were all in the same class together. It's just boring reading a PowerPoint slide when the professor doesn't really like act very engaging. I think this was good too because we get to use previous experiences that we could just think of as an example.
Right. And I mean, I learned too because I'm not an expert in pipeline. I know logistics. I know, yellow roadway, but you taught me something tonight, right? And I mean, that's beneficial for me as well. So that's why I like having these conversations, because again, you can read the book, right? But I think that this is what we're going through now is going to stick. And if you all agree or are happy or with that particular approach, that's what we're going to stick with. Because I mean, we are covering everything that we have to cover, and for accreditation purposes, we are covering everything we have to cover for in terms of the credit hour purposes. So now let's just have a discussion. That's what it's all about, right? So, like I said, I'm going to update you all your grades for the exam. Like I said, I mean, because this is an approach that some institutions are moving forward with. Some institutions they don't give exams. They have office hours. They ask questions that a professor will ask questions at the end of the term, like I asked you all, and based on the responses, that's your grade. That's your grade. So I'm somewhat trying that approach, but I like the group approach, in that if you all come to a consensus, you all talk about it. Just like Ben's point. Ben brought up an excellent point in that it depends, and in business, a lot depends. There's no cut and dry. It depends on a lot of things. There's no one size fits all for organizations. So if you were showing, like I said, Ben's example, and you talk about Logan's example, that everyone knows Pepsi, but people that may not know Pipeline, totally different company, and their portfolio structure is going to be different based on what the leaders want to see, based on what the shareholders want to see. So we're gonna continue on with this approach. If you said this is awful, I went to the lectures. I went to the PowerPoints. I got them. I
No,
got
thank
them.
you.
So and that's the way I've always taught. You know, I mean, you all, I know this stuff. You know, and I'm trying to transfer that information, and I'm trying to do it in the best way possible. All right. So thanks for that. Please make sure that you're going to be on the lecture next week, because we're going to have a guest speaker. And have a great week, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to send out an announcement. I'm doing a webinar on Friday at noon. If you're interested in ERP systems, I'm doing a lecture for Berks on Friday at noon, where we're talking about data analytics and ERP systems. So I'll be sending that out later on tonight. If you're available at 12 noon on Friday, sign up for it. It's free.
I have a question real quick.
Okay. Yep.
Were the groups for the presentation going to be random, or were we picking the people? Like, are you picking them for us, or are we picking our own member? Is what I'm asking.
What do you want to do?
I don't remember. We talked about this in a few classes ago.
I like to have you all decide upon yourselves. You know, you all need to demonstrate those leadership competencies. You all need to, collaborate with each other. You all need to collaborate with someone from another campus, and because that's what you're going to do in business. That's what you're going to do in the industry. So you all can decide amongst yourselves, and then if people are struggling with creating a group, I'll put people in those groups. Now, typically there is a limit. How many people are in this class? Because typically there's a limit, but let me see here. Oh, let's see here. So sorry. Give me a second. There's 10 people in the group, or 10 people in the class. 10 people in the class. Because Jacqueline Ernst, she's coming in. I've been speaking. She's in another class of mine. I'm trying to bring her into the to monitoring project and supply chain management. So she's going to come in. Very bright, accounting major. So she'll be in this class. There's 10 people. 5 and 5. Because that way you're not going to have an odd man out. That's a big group, though. I don't think I have a choice. All right. So if you do a group of 5, that's fine. If there's 6 here, I don't want all y'all in one group, because you all are on all the calls. You all need to split up. And I say that because you all are the ones that are engaged within the class, and I think that you all are going to be leaders in your group. That makes sense? So you all need to talk amongst each other and split up and reach out to the other people within your group and figure out the groups. That makes sense? Fair enough?
Sounds good.
It's those soft skills I talked about. You have to show me those leadership competencies. And I had this conversation. I know I'm going over schedule, so you can drop if you want to. But this is what I explained in a master's program, where you can get a master's, but it's only a piece of paper. You have to show your employer those leadership competencies, right? And I am trying to force you, to demonstrate those competencies. I'm trying to force you to build up that LinkedIn profile, build up that personal brand, start networking with people on LinkedIn, because that's where those jobs are going to come. Because I say that even if you aren't looking on LinkedIn for those jobs, when you go on Indeed and you apply for those jobs, that's the first place those recruiters are going. That's the first place they're going. I did a study with a researcher from Cal State, and they surveyed like I think 300 recruiters or something. 89% of recruiters go on LinkedIn and check candidates before they even call or before they send an email. So, like I said, once again, and I'm gonna say it every single week. There's a method to my madness for those LinkedIn learning classes. There's a method to my madness whenever I tell you to put those course completions on your profiles, because that's where these recruiters are going. I'm just not talking just to talk. I have things to do. You know, I'm here for you. I'm here for you all. I'm here to make you all successful. You know, and if you, like I said, and some of you have reached out to me, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you all are successful. You know, I just had one of my people that I announced on our TED Talk. So she just graduated from a university in Mexico, did some work for MIT. She just cold called me, and I've been working with her for like 3 weeks. I just asked her to do a TED event. I had a senior manager from Deloitte give me a call last week to collaborate on a book. I said, "Are you looking for anybody?" I gave him her name. She had an interview Friday. That simple. But I knew she was very good in tech. She's very good in ERP systems. She's very good in consulting. She's demonstrated that to me. So my point is, if you tell me what industry you want to work in and you demonstrate that I can put my name, my brand on the line, I'm going to throw your name out to all kinds of people. I'm going to give you the opportunity. You just have to land a job. Another example, I had a phone call yesterday, Monday. Startup blockchain company, California, maritime company. Have a student from Boston College. He has an interest in 3PLs in maritime. Threw his name out. That simple. So like I said, you have to tell me. Like I said, you have my phone number. You have my email. I mean, for you all who's reached out. I mean, I respond back. I give the contacts. But I don't have the specific geographical regions. But I do have those contacts in the industries if you all are willing to move. The one in Mexico, she's willing to move. She wants to come to the States. So I mean, you have, and that goes for anybody. But like I said, you have to. I'm not going to put my name on the line if I don't know you. I know you all, and that's the importance of engaging in a class. And this goes for any professor at Penn State. If you want to go in a particular discipline and that professor has experience in that discipline, you have to show them, that you are not really worthy, but you are a good candidate. I can't think of my terms right now. You're a good candidate for him or her to put your name out there. You have no idea how many people though your professors know. My network on LinkedIn is crazy. You just have to let me know. That's what I'm here for. That's what I signed up for. All right. So I'll get off my soapbox. I get excited. I get passionate, but this is what I do. This is what I do. the person on the startup. He's the owner. He's the owner of the startup company. I said, I'm building an army at Penn State. I'm building a supply chain army at Penn State, and that's what I'm doing. So if you want to get in the reserves, I'm enrolling. But I mean, I'm passionate about this stuff. That's what I did. So also, I have a few podcasts. Did I post podcasts? Did I post podcasts in the class or not? I
Not
forget
the
what
most
class
recent
it was.
one. Not the most recent one.
Okay. Yeah, I have a few podcasts I'll be posting over the next couple of weeks. I did. I got approval to post my last one. It's a little controversial, but it's the truth, and because it's on diversity and racism in supply chain, and it has to be discussed. And we had within the faculty senate, so within the professors at Penn State Wilkes-Barre, we had the discussion of how far do we go. I'm being real with y'all. I'm transparent with y'all, and it's like my view is if we don't talk about it, nothing's going to get changed. And as I said before, if you're uncomfortable about it, that's part of the problem. And I have no tolerance for it. I don't think that anyone on this phone call should have any tolerance for it. It has been proven that it is a detriment to a community. It's a detriment to an organization. And it hinders creativity. It hinders profitability. It hinders innovation within a company. I didn't already say that. So sorry. But it's going to it's increasing. It's increasing, and unfortunately, it led to what just happened. But there's been progress, in my view, and I got pushback. I got pushback on that podcast because it's the whole diversity and inclusion discussion is bigger than race. It's bigger than Black Lives Matter. There's a whole lot worse things. I said on the podcast, there's a whole lot worse things that are going on in the world than what we're talking about here. And we talked about it. Cody talked about it. I mean, everybody talked about it. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop talking about it. Because I was going to pump the brakes on it. I was going to hold off on it a little bit. But nothing's changing. And I think you're going to see more discussion about it. I mean, I know that I shouldn't be talking about it right now, but I don't think it's not a political view. It's not an opinion. It's what's emerging in the industry. And that's why, I was invited to talk about it on the podcast. So I'll upload it. You can watch it if you want to, delete it if you want to. It's that easy. All right.
Sounds good.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, Dr. J. Have a good one.
All right. You as well.
Have a nice week.
Yep.